Ben, pregnancy is an important topic, obviously. Is that considered a pre-existing condition?
Actually, pregnancy is a serious pre-existing condition. People are a little bit confused on what and why pregnancy is pre-existing condition and who it applies to. Most people, number one, don't understand that once a woman is pregnant, she is not eligible for pre-existing condition coverage. She's not eligible for coverage for a major medical carrier because of the pregnancy. Not only is she not eligible for coverage, but her husband is also not eligible coverage because he's also considered pregnant. It sounds funny that a guy can be pregnant, but in some cases it's true because if the female of the marriage is pregnant, then the male is also pregnant because they share that common pregnancy, and that will deny coverage for both her and for him. So people really are confused nowadays because they don't understand how the pre-existing condition with pregnancy works. The simple fact is when you're pregnant, you're not eligible for coverage from a major medical carrier. The only thing that you can really come up with would be a limited liability indemnity plan. So it's a fine line there on what kind of coverage she can get. She's eligible for coverage, sure. She's just not eligible for major medical, nor is the husband.
And Ben, just to give you a little background on this, is that we're talking about people that don't currently have health insurance. Okay, so if you have coverage through an employer or you currently have an individual health plan in the marketplace and you've selected maternity as an option, then by all means you have coverage. But what we're referring to here is people that don't have coverage and now are looking to try to get coverage. So if you make a call and you think you may be pregnant, it's a pre-existing condition, and there's not going to be a carrier out there that's going to help you. You're better off saving your money and trying to negotiate some discounts with the doctors and hospitals at this point.
Yeah, people should also keep in mind pregnancy should be something that should be planned out. You can always try and add a maternity option before you're pregnant. In other words, if a person is looking for coverage because they're not insured and they're looking for the maternity option, they can add that option as long as they're not currently pregnant. Some companies will allow you to do so. Now, there could be a waiting period involved, but you want this to be something that's planned. You want to plan out your pregnancy in advance and not have it unexpected so you can prepare your coverage to work for you and service the maternity benefits that are needed. Because pregnancy is a 9-month period, there's a long process involved of going to a doctor, going to get to sonograms, the ultrasounds, the prenatal testing, and actually the hospitalization is included. So that 9-month period of pregnancy really needs to be prepared for in advance. So we always recommend to our clients, if you're not currently insured and you plan on getting pregnant, make sure that you go in advance and add that maternity option before you're pregnant. This way you've prepared yourself for the expenses that are going to incur during the pregnancy period.
You know, saying planning out maternity, I kind of giggle. I was always told I was a mistake or an accident, and sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes it happens, and this is very crucial. You can be early in the pregnancy and you're thinking because you haven't been diagnosed by a doctor yet that you're not you don't have the condition yet because there's no diagnosis. That's not necessarily true. There's some clauses in every policy. One of the main words is manifested. So if you're 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks pregnant, and even though you haven't seen a doctor, the other word that's in a policy is called a prudent person. So that person kind of knows that they have symptoms, and they would have gone to get checked up. So it's kind of up to the insurance company to see whether or not this is a pre-existing condition or not, and whether they're going to take you. Best thing to do is apply. Check with the agent, see what his thoughts are, and you can always apply to the carrier to see. But normally, if you haven't been diagnosed and that condition is 4, 5, 6 weeks, likelihood is it is going to be pre-existing, and you're not going to be able to get coverage by the carrier.